Well, it's a new month. Another holiday's coming up. Tomorrow is the birthday of America. It's July 4th. Happy birthday, America. It's a little bit long weekend. Now, this week it was a little short on content, but that's due to the holiday on there. Next week, we might be a little bit the same. We're trying to push out a couple more. So we're working on a lot of stories right now, including, right now we're going into the summer season of anime. There's a lot of great stuff come out. Some new seasons, some new things, and something coming back that, I couldn't believe that we're going to get a second season of. I was hoping this is something I did want, and I can't believe we're getting it. But nonetheless, it's 6 p.m. here Thursday, July 3rd. Welcome to another edition of Otaku Thursday. Thank you for clicking on this video. Don't forget to share this video, hit the like, and, take a moment, drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on today's episode, something on your mind on anime or anything to that nature. And, hey, listen, hit that subscribe button. It's very important on there, because it moves us up in the algorithm, whether you're on YouTube or you're on Rumble. Well, there's a lot news out there. We're trying to pick and choose what you might want to hear. Some things that maybe others haven't talked about, or increase a little bit on, give my 2 cents to $1 on something that you might have heard of, and I just want to talk about it. Today's episode will be focusing on anime movie rights. Yeah, that's right. Because one particular anime that they've been trying to make live action, well, it's fallen again. How many times have you heard this on this particular one? And we'll be talking about today. But we got two other stories here real quick, and they both basically fall into the same category. Blu-ray releases. Yes, that's right. There are two classic animes that are finally getting a Blu-ray release, after such a long time. The first one, if you like that cyberpunk, Blade Runner, Aeon Flux, Psycho-Pass, Ghost in the Shell type of anime, well, here's something that was out 19 years ago. It's 19 years. And it is called Ergo Proxy. Of course, it's a cyberpunk one. And it is getting a Steelbook Blu-ray coming this fall. Now, if you don't know Ergo Proxy, I'm going to give you a bit synopsis on the what it is about. It's set in a post-apocalyptic world in which humanity lives in domed cities due to the outside world becoming inhospitable after an ecological disaster. In that scenario, humans and androids coexist in a new system that utilizes robots for various purposes. I don't know if it's I or L. Mayer is a detective who receives a haunting message that suggests something terrible is about to happen. Meanwhile, a new virus starts to circulate around in the domed city, and its victims become potential agents of chaos. Like I said, it almost sounds a little bit of one of my favorites, Psycho-Pass. If you haven't seen Psycho-Pass, that's another one that's really good. But, this one, 87% Rotten score. It is really good. It's like I said, it's a mix of Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell, any of those cyberpunk type animes that you've seen in the past. And, I'm so glad that they're getting a steelbook on this one. This is a long pass. It's beautifully done. This is more like toward a Japanese art, the way that this was done. And they a lot of people say, well, there's a lost art on this one. No, there's some that do come out every once in a while. There's something to this nature, but this happens to be one of the really good ones that was made years ago. And this is out of the alt 80s and 90s, when you had a lot of this type of situation going on during that time period. You go back and look at on that, and some are being re-released now too. Netflix has one going on right now. That basically they got another season of it coming. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I can't think of it right now. But yeah, and that's the other thing. Netflix has gotten a lot of anime lately to that point. But like I said, this is coming out September 29th. Yep, September 29th. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. If you're ready for that. But here is the other one. This is the big one. This is the big one. If you're a fan of Matsumoto, if you're not familiar who that is, well, he's the person that helped create the world of Captain Harlock, Galaxy Express 39. This is something from that universe itself. And it's finally, this is coming through Sentai Filmworks, and it is a limited editions on that. Same thing with Ergo Proxy. I forgot to mention that. Ergo is going to be a limited also. This is Queen Millennia, and it's getting their complete series, 42 episodes. And that's coming out also in the fall on Blu-ray on September 2nd. It's finally getting a remaster after such a long time. I mean, I'm hoping Galaxy Express is next on the block, because basically Galaxy Express needs some love on itself too. But the story itself, and I'll bring you a little bit of what this is about. When a brilliant Professor Anamori makes a shocking discovery of a new planet in our solar system, the discovery comes with a terrifying realization that the gigantic world of Larmetal's projected path could soon destroy the Earth. All hope is not lost. However, Amori's own assistant, Yayor Yukino, was secretly sent from Larmetal to gather humans as slaves. Yet her interactions with humans, like Amoro's nephew Hajime, has begun to make her question her mission. Still, even with the aid of super science, can one woman defeat the forces of Larmetal and save mankind? Yes, this is the space opera that you want to see from this lineup. I mean, this is old school anime. And if you haven't seen this or seen Galaxy Express 39, in fact, Queen Millennia, I don't think is on streaming. I have not seen it on streaming. Galaxy Express 39, yes, has been all over the place. Captain Harlock as well, who's another part of the spin-offs of that. I mean, this is the man, Matsumoto was the man who introduced me to anime, because it was his series were truly the first ones I really saw Japanese. I mean, yeah, you could go to the black and white stuff and Speed Racer and stuff like that, but most of that was edited already down for U.S. audiences. This, when I saw it, was straight from Japan, because it was Nippon television. I watched it on WJNU, channel 47 in New York here. Channel 47 still does exist on there. It used to be a UHF station, and the UHFs have died off, but they used to share time with certain stations, broadcasters from outside the U.S., and it happened to be Nippon did Saturday nights on this UHF channel, and I got to see a lot of great stuff, a lot of great anime. Ikusan and like Captain Harlock and Galaxy Express, Queen Millennia. All of this came forward onto there. And remember, this was also a manga series as well. Should be still out there to that point. In fact, Harmony Gold basically worked with the combining it on the TV series version of it when it came to the U.S. for just a short time on there. Because what was done, it was sort of edited. Harmony Gold edited in with Carl Masak, and they combined it with Space Pirate Captain Harlock in 85 to 86. What was it? It was called Captain Harlock and the Queen of 1,000 Years. That's how it was. And Germany broadcasted it as well, in Greece and France as well. But later on, they got it in 97, and France got it in 2004. Like I said, this is something that's long since coming. Like I said, it was shown here, boxed up with Harlock. Now we get to see it in its original formatting onto there, the way it originally aired on broadcast Japanese television at 42 episodes. It's from what I understand, there isn't. It's not being English dubbed. So basically, this will be subtitled only. So I wish it would have been English title. Maybe more people English dub. More people see it. But hey, listen, do pick it up. It's like I said. It's right before back to school. Before school starts again, September 2nd. It is limited, so you probably might want to order it now from Sentai Filmworks online. I believe they're the only ones starting to carry it only. Price point, I think. Hold on. As in looking it up online right now. Let's see. Original price on it was $100. And this will be going for $64.99 pre-order for September. And there's some other stuff that's coming out that's really good for that period also. Do go check out Sentai, because basically Sentai, you might pay a little bit more sometimes, but you get some good content from them, some good stuff. And a lot of times they give really good sales. I believe the Vampire Hunter D, the remaster, if I'm not mistaken, which is coming out August 12th, on them, I believe this is the theatrical version. It's coming out in the new Blu-ray for $20. So do go over and check it out on there. And like I said, this is limited edition. So this is not going to last long. I think they're not going to go with a second printing. I don't think so at all. So do check it out. Like I said, Sentai Filmworks. Hurry and get it before it's all gone. Well, now let's get into the main story for today. Really on there, we're going to try to shorten this up because I know it's a holiday. We're on the crux of the beginning of the holiday. You probably might want to get out tonight. It is still early. Fireworks are tomorrow night, especially if you live in New York. We're on the East River. We'll have the fireworks out there. But what has been going on lately is, the movie Akira, or Akira, or however you want to pronounce it. I pronounce it the way it's supposed to be, Akira. If you've not heard of this movie, where have you been? Number one. Number two, you call yourself an anime fan and never watched this? Oh, man. No, this is one of the best animes out as far as movie-wise. Really well done, really well drawn. This is from Anime Cells and background draws and stuff like that. If you haven't seen it, take a moment, go get it. You can watch it on streaming, but get yourself a copy of this. This is one that should be in your library. Even if you're not too much of an anime fan, this is a great story. This was also a manga itself, very popular at the time period. This was back in the 80s. They really don't make these anymore like this. Now, for many years now, and we've heard the rumors and stuff, and the companies that have tried to make this into a live action, to the point where they say, well, we're going to get Keanu Reeves to play one of the characters on there, to that point. But it looks like, the rights, the last company to have it was Warner. And, basically Warner hasn't done really anything with it because people have come and gone on this project. It is not an easy project to do. This is, I'll tell you honestly, I would not put this on the screen as a live action. The CGI alone is going to be tasking. If you've never seen this, it's incredibly. When it was animated at the time period, people just lost their mind seeing this on a big screen. Because when they started putting this out on the big screen, there was like, oh, this is phenomenal. It's well done. It's the colors, the vivid colors, the music, the action itself, the story. It's really good. But, let's take it from Deadline. And I'm going to read this from Deadline itself. Akira live action film rights at Warner Brothers lapse, reverting back to the publisher. In other words, it's up for grabs. It's up for grabs. Any company can come in, take a bid on it, and possibly, they'll do it. If anything, a Japanese company should do this. If anything. The possibility of a live-action take of the 1988 anime movie Akira from Warner Brothers is no longer, as Deadline confirmed that the rights have lapsed, now reverting back to the manga publisher Kodansha. The movie, directed by Katsuhiro Otomo, follows a teenage biker gang member who turns into a rampaging psychic psychopath after a secret military project endangers Neo-Tokyo. The protag learns that he has telekinetic abilities which are dangerous to the word. His best friend is the only one who can stop him. The Burbank, California lot had the movie rights since 2002 with directors like Stephen Norrington, Albert Hughes, Jamu Colette Sierra, and lastly, Taki Watati. He's been very busy, and that's, it's been circling on there. Leonardo DiCaprio, Aprin Way was circling at one point. Akira had an $18.5 million California tax credit. Boardwalk Empire Michael Pitt was even attached to the project at one point. And then Garrett Hedlund, Kristen Stewart, Helena Bonham Carter, Ken Wannabe even kicked the tires on Akira. Here's the thing. Turning an anime into a live-action movie or even a TV series is hard. Oh, God, Deadline, I can't believe you just said that. Finally, somebody is saying it in the mainstream media. Two of the most prolific projects were failures. Paramount turned 1995's Ghost in the Shell into a $110 million big screen take starring Scarlett Johansson. The movie tanked, grossing over $40 million and under $170 million worldwide. Rejected by fans for whitewashing the original. It wasn't only that the whitewashing, it was the scenery. And you could see it on the trailer. I mean, go watch Ghost in the Shell, the movie. It's similar to Akira as far as the backgrounds and stuff like that. And that was the mistakes that they were making on there. You can't, the look itself, the look of the, of the atmosphere of Japan is part of the story itself. I mean, that's, the scene where the plane is flying over, Tokyo, because that's what, the airport is that close in, and, you get flights, right over the buildings. Continuing on, the results served as a harbinger to the motion picture studios to avoid anime big screen adaptations. Yes, that's right. Netflix made a 2021 series, Cowboy Bebop, starring John Cho, Mustafa Sahari, and Daniel Pinella. In a total shock, the streamer axed the second season for the series less than a month after it dropped back in December of 2021. Shinjiro Wannabe, the original creator of Cowboy Bebop, the anime series, expressed to Forbes that he couldn't watch the live-action take. Hollywood Reporter, who first reported the story about Akira's rights today, says that the development went into 8 figures in over 20 years, reporting that there's a bidding war for Akira, but no parties were named. But here we go. And those of you out there, you're probably going to mention, well, what about One Piece? One Piece is doing pretty good. Well, yeah, okay, I'll admit One Piece is doing pretty good. But you have others like Bid, which is like Kakaguri. They're doing that Kakaguri series, which already has a live action. And they're not this bet, or it's bet, not Bid. Bet, it already doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. And I heard they're already tagging a second season for it. And then, of course, you had the failure of Death Note, the Netflix version, not the one over in Japan. Japan has a really good version, and it has several sequels, and they were really good, of Death Note. I mean, the only thing good on there was William Dafoe. That's right. And it's the same thing that happened with Cowboy Bebop. Mustafa Shakir was the good thing for Cowboy Bebop. I mean, it's basically, you can have good actors in the series. But if you don't have the script right, if you don't have the the story itself properly done, if you don't have the proper director, the scenery itself, the costume design, it's not going to work. One Piece is working because they went to that level onto there. There is some issues, obviously on there, but it's still watchable. Same thing with Alice in Borderland. Alice in Borderland is good. Where they're going to take it next, that's a good question on that. I'm weaning on that itself. See what happened with Squid Game to that point. Because Hollywood tends to take these things and just basically, those of you in the United States wouldn't understand the original Japanese version of it. Bullshit. What it is that they want to open to a wider audience. Stop thinking that way. Stop thinking. Do you know why anime does very well overseas in the box office and all that, making money on a lot of these, and even some in the U.S., is because they don't concentrate on a large amount of people to come see it. They focus on the fan base. They know who's going to come watch it. It's the same mistakes that Disney's doing with Star Wars, with the Marvel Universe itself. They're looking to make the big bucks, the $200 billion mark. They want to make $1 trillion. You're not always going to make it. But if you make a movie within a budget, a low budget, whether it's animated or live action, you could still make money. What's making money, man? A lot of the horror films. A lot of the low-budget horror films. Look what they did with Megan 2.0. Megan 2.0, it's not the greatest film in the world. Part 1 was great. Part 2, what did they do? They turned her into an anti-hero. They went from horror to anti-hero. They're trying to do the same thing they did with Pitch Black, which that even had an anime. They try to take Pitch Black, the Riddick character, and it was a sci-fi horror, which was real. Pitch Black is really good. It's really good for. I did like that they turned him into an anti-hero, but there's so far you can go with it. After the third movie, was it the third movie? I lost my interest on it. I mean, technically is it a fourth? Because they never count that second Dark Fury movie that they did, that short bridge from the Pitch Black to Chronicles to that point. But that's what happened with Megan. They tried to turn her into an anti-hero, which is ridiculous. See, that's what Hollywood. They'll like it. They'll love it. No, what are you going to do? Turn Art the Clown into an anti-hero? I mean, no. You have to understand if you're going, and we talked about this last week. There are a lot of producers or directors out there for the anime universe that says, no, we don't want to cater, because Hollywood thinks it's so easy to make an anime. They said, we don't have to do it this way. Let's just make it into an anime. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. Anime is an art, and basically the scripting and stuff like that. I mean, there's some great stuff out there, and we discussed it before. Ergo Proxy, on the anything done by Leijed Mazimoto, Queen Millennia, Galaxy Express 39. We talked about, of course, here, Akira. Akira is a great story in itself. And Ghost in the Shell as well. Cowboy Bebop. There's been a lot of movies and series throughout the history. Hollywood just takes and ruins them. They've ruined Star Trek. They've ruined Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark. They've ruined, everything they've taken, they've ruined it. Especially Disney, which Disney used to make a lot of good content. Some of it good, some of it bad, and they're known for their animation. That they had the height. Now, what are they doing? They're doing crap, political crap, which they need to stop. Eventually it's going to bankrupt them. Where they're getting the money, go figure on that. But see, the thing is, you go to Japan and you see the production houses and what they're doing. Yeah, they're underpaid, and you're going to say that on the comment line. They should be paid more. And you're right, they are, and they're all working. The Congress in Japan are working on that. They're working on new laws to strengthen the job laws, especially in the manga anime industry. Because now we have people who are politicians that were in the anime and manga industry that are working to help it. But meanwhile, you get outsiders like Hollywood, the banking industry, and the politicians. All these people that are trying on there. I mean, we still, in fact, we'll talk about it next week about SB 20 in Texas, that it has been signed by the governor, and we'll talk about that next week because I'm trying to get a segment from a discussion I had with a couple other people, and I want to get the correct elements from that, so at least you could see that as well and hear from takes from other people, including someone who doesn't watch really anime in the anime world. And that is something, they're just starting to get into anime, and that that's very important, to hear from someone that just basically is out of the box. Because there are people who do catch in and watch an anime and it says, oh, this is really good. It's really, really good. I mean, my wife, she doesn't like it's the anime stuff on that, even the horror stuff. But every once in a while, there's something that creeps out that catches her eye, that she'll grab onto and she'll watch it, and she'll enjoy it to that nature. Then of course you have the politics to the situation that they're using as a red herring to child trafficking and human trafficking, and to the point, and some of the ridiculous things that you hear that is going on in the anime, manga, and gaming universe, because some of the gaming universe is fed off the anime. And then you have the parties in between, like China and Korea, who are trying to, go in head first into the industry. Now, Korea has had some time with it. It's the same like what the French is doing as well with some of their projects. That they've done this for a little bit, and they've worked on stuff for a long time for Western audiences. Adaptations, changeovers to the Western folks on there, meaning to the when you look at some of the stuff that was put out back in the 80s, the 90s, and the early 2000s. But one thing about the last thing on the Akira, I think they should avoid it, to that point. But someone's going to say out there, it says, but what about Battle Angel? Battle Angel, they were able to do. I said, yeah, you did. You got the right people, the right places, at the right time to that. Akira is a little bit more difficult, even though they're from the similar eras. Akira, its presence itself, you're dealing with a lot of elements. Whereas Battle Angel, you're focusing on one certain element to that nature. Akira, you're dealing with many different things in the background, even in the background itself. You're dealing with a new Tokyo after Tokyo has been destroyed due to situations from the past. And now the past is creeping back into it. And that's where this story begins, is that, the mistakes that were made by the government they're going to continue to repeat once again, because they're trying to delve into the minds of people, try to create powers and stuff like that. And, you play with science, it's going to burn you in any way whatsoever. And that's what happens here. This is science gone mad at certain points. And like I say, and then you're dealing with also the unrest with people too. There is an unrest. There's a coalition of people that are trying to go against the government. So there are a lot of good storylines within this, universe itself. And you're going to have to put that all together. You can't just focus on, Kaneda and his gang to that point. There's word out that someone's close to actual. Some people have done replications of the motorcycle. Someone's actually going to get close to creating the closest to what the movie version is. But I guess I'll see it when I see it, and I'll believe it when I see it. To that point. So this is a short version of the Otaku Thursday. Thank you for tuning in once again. Drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts about this. Let me know what you think. Should they do a live action Akira, or should they drop it off? Now, one thing before we go. This Sunday, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube on Sci-Fi Snob's channel, he will be discussing the movie itself, giving you a breakdown of the movie Akira. I believe they're watching it, and then they're going to discuss afterwards on it. So it's going to be 11 p.m. Eastern right here on YouTube on Sci-Fi Snob's channel. I will leave a link in the description below. So do check it out. Give them some love over there. Smash the subscribe. They're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers out there. I think they're about 565 right now. So take a moment, go hit the subscribe to them. But like I said, drop a comment, like, share, and hopefully today's the day I've earned your subscription. So until next time, thank you for tuning in. See you next week, this time next week, 6 p.m. Eastern, here on Thursday. Take in some anime, take in some manga, treat it like a fine wine when you open it up. Smell it, taste it, touch it, enjoy it. And we'll see you on the back end. Bye-bye now.
Thanks for watching, commenting, and sharing this video. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe, as this helps the reach of this channel. Finally, as a content viewer, you have the ability to help support this channel, as new internet laws around the world will diminish our reach and affect our sponsors. If you choose to help, there are two ways, listed in the description below. The first link will lead you to a pay site where you can make a monetary donation. The second will lead you to our gear shop, where you can buy shirts, mugs, and other gear. Discounts will be listed on the site. Once again, thank you for watching and your support.
Fuck all what you think, bitch. Make sure let me paint